The doors to the Viridian tea house are open once more. Hello everyone, I hope you're doing well. I'm recording this video early because at sunset today begins Yom Kippur, a day of atonement, and I will be out of pocket until sunset tomorrow. So I figured I'd just go ahead and do the video, but I've got lots to talk about. So without further ado, let's begin. Oh, and of course, as always, lemongrass says hello. Hello, lemongrass. I love this stuffed animal. It's so soft. Thank you, Jellycat. So, book-wise, well, I've got two really interesting books to review this time, and they both involve history, but looking at it from completely different worlds. Well, you see what I mean in just a minute. So the first one, I do have a little story. I purchased this book at Bubonicon. Yay, Bubonicon in Albuquerque, New Mexico this year. And I met the author and really cool guy until I found out that he is an astrophysicist, to which I completely fangirled all over this man. I'm sure he was probably like, is there something wrong with her? Does she not get out of the house enough? But he was a delight to talk with, and the book that I read was fantastic, and I'm looking forward to adding this series to all the other series that I am currently reading. So what am I talking about? This is Dragon's Fall, The Rise of the Scarlet Order Vampires by David Lee Summers. And the book cover was done by Chaz Kemp. Amazing Art Nouveau-ish artist. But I love reading about vampires, although I am a werewolf girl, but I love reading about vampires, and not just the typical, all they do is run around and kill people. This was kind of different. I mean, yeah, they ran around and killed people, sort of, but there's history to it. And if you are a history buff like I am, you will appreciate this series. So let me read the back of it for you. Let's see. 3 vampires, 3 lives, 3 stories intertwined. Bearing the guilt of destroying the holiest of books after becoming a vampire, the dragon, Lord Desmond, searches the world for lost knowledge, but instead discovers truth and love. Born a slave in ancient Greece, Alexandra craves freedom above all else until a vampire sets her free, and then she must pay the highest price of all, her human soul. An assassin who lives in the shadows, Roquelaure, I think I said that correctly. If I didn't say that correctly, my apologies. I'm always apologetic. Is cloaked even from himself until he discovers the power of friendship and loyalty. 3 vampires traveling the world by moonlight, 1 woman, and 2 men who forge a bond made in love and blood. Together they form a band of mercenaries called the Scarlet Order and recruit others who are like them. Their mission is to protect kings and emperors against marauders, invaders, and rogue vampires as the world descends into the chaos of the Dark Ages. It is a great combination of vampires and history. You read about the 3 vampires and how they became vampires. Alexandra being the oldest, I'm assuming. But this book deals with, of course, the Dark Ages. So you're dealing with ancient Greece, and you're dealing with King Arthur and the court, and also what happens after Arthur's court. And you also get to deal with historical figures, but you can tell David Lee Summers is a historian. He knows his stuff. It's not just throwing in historical facts and figures just to make it look interesting. I felt at times I was reading a history book, but according like a vampire history book. But it was an excellent combination of horror and history. And I cannot wait to read the second book. I will say, out of all the vampires, I did like Alexandra at first, and I still liked her, but I really liked Lord Desmond. He was my favorite vampire because of coming in contact with possibly the only written form of Jesus's direct words. He is a vampire that is just searching for knowledge. He's searching for books, searching for more books or a Bible or something that is Jesus's direct words. I love that slight obsession that Lord Desmond has. And Roquelaure, I'm not really sure who he really is. I think it might be this one person, but I could be very wrong because I think the author did enough red herrings to where you're like, wait, no, oh, no, wait, I just give up. But I enjoyed, like I said, the combination of history and vampires, and especially the section dealing with Vlad Dracula. Perfect. That was beautiful. So for Dragon's Fall, Rise of the Scarlet Order Vampires by David Lee Summers, I give it Viridian Tea House's 5 pots of tea. Actually, 5 pots of bloody tea. Thank you so much, David. I truly did enjoy the book, and it was fantastic again meeting you at Bubonicon. And I look forward to continuing the journey of the trio of vampires. And I just thank you so much. Thank you. So the next book, which deals with history, but from a different perspective, this author I'd heard about years ago. She had a book called Encyclopedia of the Exquisite. And I remember when I first looked at it, I was like, what in the heck is this? But it really was an encyclopedia of finer things that may have, that are no longer in current society or are treated as such valuable items or valuable ways to spend one's time. I regret that I had a copy of the book, and I don't know if I let somebody borrow it or if I left it somewhere, but I do need to get another copy. So I am talking about All the Time in the World, a Book of Hours. Check out that cover too. Isn't it just darling? And the author is Jessica Kerwin Jenkins. So what's this book about? I'll read it to you. Let's see here. All the Time in the World takes its cue from an iconic component of medieval life, the Book of Hours, which prescribes certain readings and contemplations for certain parts of the day throughout the year. Divided into more than 75 entries, All the Time in the World is brimming with witty bon mots, interesting etymologies, and arresting anecdotes encompassing an array of cultures and eras. Subjects covered include the day-long ceremony of laying a royal Elizabethan tablecloth, which was really fascinating, by the way, the radicalization of satirical chic in 1890s Paris, Nostradamus's belief in the aphrodisiac power of jam. I'll never look at smokers the same way again. Just pointing that out. The sensuous practice of sniffing incense in 15th century Japan, the American fascination with flaming desserts. You do kind of have to wonder about that. The short-lived artistic discipline of lumia or visual music, the evolution of coffee from a religious ritual to a forbidden delight in the Middle East, Henriette de Angeville's fearless and wine-fueled ascent of Mont Blanc, the elaborate treasure hunts concocted by London's bright young things, which that was really cool. I wish people would bring that one back. And the musical revolution known as bebop, my all-time favorite kind of jazz. Thank you, Dizzy Gillespie. An antidote to the contemporary cult of getting things done. All the Time in the World revives forgotten treasures of the past while inspiring a passion for good living in the present. This is the kind of book where it's not going to be for the masses. It's going to be for the person who is a retro punk, somebody who adores steampunk, or somebody who lays out the fine china for an afternoon tea at your book club, or someone who can't get enough of tweed. I do love tweed on a man. I lost my train of thought. But this book was very insightful with every entry, because the entries were set up, let's see, by times during the day. So the first time of the day was 6 a.m., which was about the circus coming to town. And it ends with, let's see, was that the right one? Yeah. And it ends with 5 a.m. the next day, the dawn chorus. This is a plethora of learning about historical facts and past times of long ago that you may want to kind of start again. Like, I love the treasure hunt of the bright young things. That was awesome. And about the Nostradamus and the aphrodisiac power of jam. I read that and I was like, okay, okay. But I enjoyed this book. I would love to delve more into some of the subjects that she brought up, and just to kind of add to my own library or incorporate into my daily life. But if you're the kind of person that enjoys reading about just strange and unusual, but not so strange and unusual events of humanity's past and possibly present, you cannot go wrong with All the Time in the World. This was, again, this was such a delightful book. Like, I just wanted to, purchase like a skull and crossbones china teacup and sip my Earl Grey while reading that, and then writing down some notes with my fountain pen that only uses Viridian colored ink, that kind of thing. So for All the Time in the World, A Book of Hours by Jessica Kerwin Jenkins, it gets Viridian Tea House's 5 pots of delicious Earl Grey tea. Thank you so much, Jessica. I truly do appreciate it. Thank you. This was awesome. So let's see here. So now getting to the tea portion. So this was I'm not going to review. This is actually a blend that I had, but I've renamed it. I noticed that it just didn't fit the name that I gave it. And I thought, well, what can I do with this? It really is delicious tea. And then it dawned on me. I have a fascination with mythological creatures, and one in particular is the mermaid. I love anything about mermaids. I really like that one Pirates of the Caribbean movie that had the sirens. I truly do adore that. I love witches, and well, they're not mythological creatures. They are badass women. Witches and vampires and werewolves and mermaids just keep bringing it to me. So my new but not really new blend is called Sirens Voice. And this is one of my green tea blends. And it is Sencha Tea, which I tend to use Sencha Tea for most of my tea blends. And for those of you who don't know, Sencha Tea is a form of Japanese green tea. It has a vegetal, slightly seaweed, say that 3 times fast, taste to it and smell to it, but it's not off-putting. It's quite nice. So Sencha Tea, jasmine, lemongrass, passion flower, roses, and dried apples. And if you look, there's a little mermaid reading a book in a teacup. And that was done by Colorado author and artist J.W. Bullard. You've noticed that some of my labels do have little pieces of artwork like this, and he's the one that did it. So much thanks to J.W. Bullard for creating that little mermaid in a teacup. And of course, I brewed some in my lovely Celestial Dragon Sakura mug. And enjoy. Yeah, I do remember when I first made this blend, I thought this is a very velvety, smooth, soft tea in the mouth and for the mouth feel. It doesn't feel harsh. It's not like you're gagging. This just covers your mouth in a very pleasing way. And I noticed that I'm very much getting the green tea, of course, but it's not overpowering. And then the roses and the jasmine, and maybe a hint of the apple. But like with tea, when it decreases in temperature, other ingredients and flavors will rise and others will kind of sink to the bottom. So I'm just curious to see what's going to pop up as the temperature decreases. Okay, with that last sip, I got more of the apple. I don't know. It's tea, man. What do you expect? But this will be available on my Etsy store. And if you will be attending this weekend, it's called Earth Made at Auraria. That's in Denver. It's Saturday and Sunday. I will be there on Sunday selling tea and books, and I've already made a ton of bags of Sirens Voice. So if you're going to be in the Denver area this weekend and you're looking for something to do, Earth Made at Auraria is supposed to be a weekend festival involving plants and crystals and all sorts of stuff. And I think there's going to be some music there. I'm not sure, but I will put the link to the event on the YouTube video, or this particular video, so you can check it out. And I don't know, if you're in the area, stop on by. But like I said, I will be there on Sunday, not on Saturday. Because Saturday, James and I are going to see Colorado Ballet's production of Dracula. I am so looking forward to that. And I'll probably talk about it next week in another Viridian Tea House episode, so stay tuned. Let's see. Oh yes, one more thing. I try to do these little shout outs to other small businesses and other companies, or just things that I find to be really cool. And I do want to show this. So this is my newest journal. If you see, it's all witches and it's all like vintage witches. And I don't know if there's a website to this, but I purchased this one at Apothecary Fairy. They do have a website, and they also have a store in Aspen Grove in Littleton, Colorado. So if you're looking for a new journal and you happen to be near or in Littleton, stop by Apothecary Fairy, because not only does she have this particular journal, but she's also got one that's got all different kinds of moths on it. There's another one, I think, that has like vintage Halloween decorations on it too. But yeah, check out Apothecary Fairy in Aspen Grove in Littleton, Colorado. She's got something for everyone. Just highly recommend it. Well, I think that is all for today. So I'm going to wrap up with a tea meditation as always. And for those of you who are new to this, what I like to do, this is just a breathing exercise. You don't need to think about a specific subject, or I'm guiding you. I start with taking 2 deep breaths in through the nose and out through the mouth. You can either close your eyes, or you can softly focus on an object in front of you. Breathe, just focus on your breathing. And I've learned this through my own meditation practice. Your brain is not going to shut down, and that's not the point of meditation. If you find yourself about to get caught up in a thought, just quietly tell yourself thinking, and allow the thought to just go by, and just return to focusing on your breath. And then after a couple of counts, I'll end the meditation with another deep breath in through the nose and out through the mouth. And then we finish with a nice long sip of your tea. If you don't have any tea, but you've got water, that's fine. In fact, if you don't have anything to drink, that's fine too. So without further ado, let's begin. And now as we end this meditation, take one deep breath in through the nose and out through the mouth. Slowly open your eyes or focus again and have a nice long sip of your tea or water. Absolutely delicious. So that's all I have for today. Much thanks to Jessica Kerwin Jenkins and also David Lee Summers. Let me just show those books one more time. So we've got All the Time in the World, A Book of Hours. And we also have Dragon's Fall, Rise of the Scarlet Order Vampires. I will put links to both of these books on the YouTube video so you can check these out and purchase them yourself. And also the Sirens Voice tea blend will be made available on my Etsy store, and I'll include the link as well. And and also again, shout out to Apothecary Fairy in Aspen Grove and Littleton. Wonderful soaps, lotions, witch journals, candles. She truly has an apothecary, so definitely check her out. She also has a website too. And I think that's it. And one last thing. If you are celebrating Yom Kippur, may your fast be pleasant and may this Day of Atonement be what you need. So until next time, take care of yourself and each other. Raise your teacup high, and I'll see you next week. Bye for now.